everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel, The Movie Canon. I am Giovanny, and this video's Movie Canon Movie Council includes Bryan.
Hey, how's it going?
Ivan.
Yo.
CHEVO.
What's up?
Today, we will be ranking the most popular actors portraying the Caped Crusader, from Adam West to the latest Bat, Robert Pattinson. All right, so we're going to begin with the number 9 spot. So I think we all agreed with the number 9 spot, and it is Mr. George Clooney. I never really separated George Clooney from anything else that he's in, not even Batman or Bruce Wayne or basically any character that he's done. I think he's only portrayed one character that I actually thought he did a fine job in, but I don't think George Clooney is as amazing actor as people portray him to be, but definitely as Batman, he kind of came off kind of like a joke in a way. And I know a lot of people don't like Adam West either because he's kind of like, you know, the era, very campy Batman or whatever. But George Clooney, I think, takes the cake with probably the worst Batman that we've had. It almost destroyed the entire Batman franchise. I mean, not just him by himself, but, you know, the movie as well didn't help. But Clooney is number 9 in our spot. So, Bryan, was Clooney in your very last spot as well, or was it a little higher up?
Yeah, he was definitely dead last. I sometimes forget that he actually played the Batman. He's just George Clooney. He's not like anyone else. He's just George Clooney. Worst Batman ever.
Yeah, I don't see Batman when I see George Clooney, whether he's wearing the costume or not. When he's portraying Bruce Wayne, I see George Clooney. Like if he's in the Hollywood red carpet or something, I just see George Clooney. Like I don't see anyone else at all.
George Clooney did not care, I'm sure. He might have been forced to do this. I don't know if what the backstory was of him getting the role, if he wanted it. Phoned it in, didn't care, didn't practice. I'm sure he just showed up, probably just read his lines, because there's nothing unique about this role of him playing Batman. He did not care.
Yeah, since then he has apologized to the public of his portrayal of Batman, so I support that, and I respect that, because he knows that he was not a good Batman. Like I said, the script and the movie itself was not good, but I mean, you've seen bad movies and very good performances. And just like all the lines that he says, you know, like freeze or I'm Batman. Like he just says it kind of like George Clooney.
Yeah, I think the most acting he does in this movie is probably when they bring up marriage. You know what I mean? Like everything else is just as same as flat, and that's like the only one scene I can see where his acting was a little bit different.
CHEVO, your thoughts on Clooney, and was he on your number 9 spot?
I don't think so. I think Val Kilmer was last, but to me, it's like these movies are not as, you know, they're not the same as the newer ones we're getting. These are obviously really campy. They're meant for kids. So I don't think anyone who was in this movie cared, because the script was so ridiculous and so campy. It was just a straight up kids movie. So, the last two, the Schumacher ones. And I think Val Kilmer is worse just because it's more forgettable, even though they're equally bad.
I think, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we're not really talking about him yet, but I think Val Kilmer's performance was more of an effort than George Clooney's performance, and they're from the same director and then the same type of campy, worst Batman movies that we've had. It's all supposed to be for kids. So I think Val Kilmer did put more of an effort than George Clooney.
Chris O'Donnell put more effort than Clooney.
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah,
right?
he really had a good performance, I think.
Yeah, he seemed like he was trying, and George Clooney did not give a fuck.
No, he did
He was
not.
just getting his paycheck, and he's like, all right, next.
I am Batman.
I guess, was he like really big at the time or something? George Clooney?
I don't remember him being really big. I know he was in the ER show. I don't remember seeing him in any other movies. I know he was very popular in that show, but that's about it. All right, so the number 8 spot, we have Adam West, who portrayed the Batman from the 1960s. He had the TV show. I think the TV show had about 3 seasons or so, and then it was canceled. But he was in the first, I think it was the first Batman movie. And I know I've seen this movie. It's just been a really long time since I've seen it, and I don't really remember it being that much of an impact for me. Like I liked the Batman character, but the animated series made more of an impact with the character than the Adam West Batman movies. So his portrayal was, obviously the campy one. It's more funny. Wasn't taken that seriously or whatever. He was basically known as Batman more than anyone else. I think more than any of these actors. I think he was the one that was kind of what's typecast with portraying Batman. But that's why he was kind of low on my spot on my ranking. But Brian, what are your thoughts on Adam West being kind of low on the ranking?
Well, he was the first one, and so I'm not surprised he's that low. I don't remember where I had him, but I've only seen YouTube videos, and I think he's hilarious. I think you can say he's sort of iconic because how old it is, especially that car too. It's iconic. So in that sense, I think he's iconic.
Ivan?
He was alright. Obviously he was doing this campy stuff, and it fit the movie, and that's it.
When we were watching those clips of the Batman show and movie, and then you show him as Bruce Wayne, like obviously it looked better, him portraying Bruce Wayne than actually Batman. But it's probably because of the costume, because of the campiness. So he kind of seemed like James Bond in a way when he's portraying Bruce Wayne.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's very James
like
Bond.
1960s style, and then he's all like wearing his outfit or whatever, and he's Bruce Wayne. So he wasn't a bad Bruce Wayne from what I recall, but as an actual Batman character, he's just the way it was. That's just the era. So they just made him to look that way, and it worked at the time, I'm sure, and it just didn't do a big impact on me. But Chevo, Adam West.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say what you said about how it was just the era. It was just the time. That's what they were. That's what that character was at that time, and obviously since then it's evolved quite a bit. But looking back, none of the Adam West stuff does it for me, so I'm not a fan. So I think that's why it's lower on my list too.
Although you did like Adam West more than you like Clooney and Kilmer.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still low, just because I don't really even count it almost because it's such a different character. It's almost like not even Batman. If you, by today's standards, it's almost like a different character. But yeah, personally, it doesn't do it for me. But I get it. That's what it was at the time. That's what the character was at the time.
All right, so the number 7, we have Ben Affleck, who was cast to portray the Caped Crusader, the Dark Knight, in the Batman vs. Superman film. And I remember when he was cast, because a lot of people were complaining and crying about him being the new Batman because of his role in Daredevil. And it's very understandable. So a lot of people were just not having it. My first reaction to that was like, maybe he'll be all right because he's done some other stuff that was decent. But definitely Daredevil, that wasn't his best work at that point. And although he had won an Oscar like recently at the time for not for acting but for Argo, and he's been getting all this claim, for directing, everything except acting. But I thought he might be all right. With our ranking here today, he made it on number 7, Ben Affleck, and I actually thought that he might be a little higher than we got. But I thought Ben Affleck, I guess the issue that I had with Ben Affleck as Batman is it was a little bit kind of like with Clooney sometimes, because sometimes I would just see Ben Affleck, not really Bruce Wayne. I did like his Batman, though, fighting and all the action sequences and all that stuff was cool. He was bigger. He was like a tall man to portray, the Dark Knight. So he looked definitely like threatening and, physically in stature and everything to actually be able to take some people out or whatever. But when it came to the Bruce Wayne portion, I kind of saw Ben Affleck. I think he was terrible. I don't think he was bad, but he wasn't like on the very top of my list there. So Brian, your thoughts on Affleck?
I liked him. I like that he's like a brawler. His Batman, I agree with you, was better than his Bruce Wayne. I think he was a little overpowered physically, just a tad bit. And I think I would have had him a little higher.
Ivan?
He was a cool Batman. He was okay Bruce Wayne. I didn't really mind it. You could see the pain that he suffered from losing Robin. And it was cool when he was, as Bruce Wayne, collecting all the other Justice League members. So, yeah, he was fine for me.
Joe?
Yeah, I didn't mind him as Bruce Wayne either. I liked him as Batman. I don't think he did a bad job or anything. But overpowered, I didn't think he was overpowered. I mean, they made him so that he could kind of go head to head with Superman. So they had to do that a little bit. You gonna say something? Were you gonna? Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, I liked him. I think he has probably. I was telling Brian earlier what I think is probably the best Batman fight scene. I don't think it's been topped.
And Batman.
You're shaking your head. No. What do you think is a better Batman fight scene?
Dark Knight Rises, Batman versus Bane.
No, it's not better. It's not better than the warehouse scene. The warehouse scene is way better than that. It's him by himself, and he takes all those guys out. After that, with the whole Martha thing, that's a different story.
Wait, which
the first time they fight,
when he gets his
ass kicked. Yeah.
When he gets his back broken.
I love that scene.
All right, so the number 6 spot is surprisingly Will Arnett, which he portrayed Batman in the Lego and Lego Batman movie, and then I think the Lego movies. So obviously, this character or this portrayal is quite different than all the other Batman characters. It goes into the more comical or whatever, and I mean, I liked his Lego Batman movie. I like that he uses his voice like he's mocking Christian Bale's voice from The Dark Knight. So I think that was kind of funny, and but it's not a character that you think of. One of the best Batman or Batmans is going to be Will Arnett, this comedian or whatever. So I'm kind of surprised that he's actually kind of high in this list. Brian, your thoughts on Will Arnett?
I liked his voice. I think he did a really good job. I think he was a fun Batman. But just for the whole movie, it might have been a little much, but it's all right.
I enjoyed his performance, and I think it was Batman v Superman same year or Justice League?
Justice League was 2017.
It's the same year.
Oh yeah. The first Justice League, yeah. The one with Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
The Joss Whedon, the one that he finished or whatever.
Yeah, so
2017, and then Lego Batman movie was earlier in the year.
Yeah, so that was the best Batman movie, and
that was the best Batman. Batman of that year.
Mm-hmm.
Joe,
I agree with everything Brian said. I think it was at times it was like whatever, but I liked it. I think he did a good job as Batman, and nothing amazing, nothing terrible. So just right in the middle.
He was just a fun Batman. He was what he was supposed to do in this kind of movie. So it's a Lego movie with Batman in it. So
I don't know what that says about Will Arnett specifically, but I feel like anybody else could have done just as good a job. Most people could have done just as good a job. No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I think his voice was really good, and his delivery was pretty good. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people could have done it, but I don't think anybody could have done it.
All right, so the number 5 spot is going to be Val Kilmer, who was in the Batman Forever films. What?
You counted that right?
Yeah, I did.
Val Kilmer's over Will Arnett?
Yes.
See, I do not agree there.
Okay.
I don't think any of us agree there. You guys think
I like him better than Will Arnett.
I like Val Kilmer.
What the fuck?
Like, he's not top 3, obviously, but I liked it more than
Ben
Arnett.
Affleck. More than Ben Affleck?
Nah,
that's what I thought. Fuckers.
Actually, I don't think so. Let me see. Let me look at my.
I thought he was easily gonna be like.
Bottom. No, he's at the very bottom.
Yeah.
Like right under Affleck. But yeah, so Val Kilmer is number 5, and he was just in Batman Forever. And I think I explained that before with the whole Clooney thing that in the Joel Schumacher Batman movies, Val Kilmer did seem that he was more into it in portraying the character. Did any of you guys watch that Val Kilmer documentary?
Not yet.
No.
That's on Amazon. Because he talks about his the whole Batman portrayal, how he's a big Batman Batman fan, and he's always wanted to portray Batman, and he finally got the opportunity to play him. And so you can tell that he was like more into it than Clooney was, but then at the same time it wasn't his best experience portraying Batman. And then I also saw Batman Forever many times as a kid, so I kind of like associate him a lot to being Batman because I would watch the movie a lot. And I didn't think he was bad at all. I think he was delivering what he was able to do based on what he was given. And I think he was a pretty decent Batman in my opinion. And then Bruce Wayne too. He fit both the Bruce Wayne and the Batman part. Like I bought both. Like some of the actors portray are better at just Batman or
either one,
or just Bruce Wayne or whatever. Brian, your thoughts on Val Kilmer?
I like Val Kilmer. I agree with you on him playing Bruce Wayne and Batman really well. I also really like that movie growing up, so it's nostalgic. I do associate him a lot with Batman. And, I mean, it's Val Kilmer. I mean, he's pretty awesome. That's about it.
I really liked him. I think I had him in, like, the top half of the list. And, same reason as you guys. Nostalgic. I didn't have any problems with it, with him as Batman or Bruce Wayne. And the movie, it's not too bad.
I had him, I think, last.
Yes, you had him dead last.
For me, I think it was more because it was just very forgettable, in my opinion. And what you were saying, I thought was interesting about how he really liked the character and stuff and was wanting to play it. Mm-hmm. I think he would have done a much better job because coming off the first 2 movies, you know, the tone of the last 2 Batman movies from that era drastically changed tone and stuff like that. So I think he expected something more like Michael Keaton or Tim Burton style movie.
Well, he says in the documentary that he didn't read the script.
Oh.
They just offered it to him, and because he always liked Batman, he's like, yeah, I'll play Batman. He didn't read the script, so maybe that's
so I think if, let's say, he was in Batman Returns, that would have been I don't know, more memorable, or it would have put it up there for me. It's just that with the movie itself, I know that doesn't say, it's not a lot about him as an actor at that point, but it's like, to me, it was just very forgettable.
Well, something I like about Kilmer is if somehow he would have been born later, and if he got the chance to be in Christopher Nolan's Batman, he would have done a great job. George Clooney could enough. Michael Keaton wouldn't have been able to pull it off. Kilmer would have been able to pull it off. So that's why I like him, even though he wasn't in the best Batman movie.
Because Kilmer is just a good actor. He's one of the actors portraying Batman who was actually good, and he was actually a very good actor on his own. Mm-hmm. I guess Clooney, they consider him to be, but I mean, I don't see it. But what was I going to say about? There's something else I was going to say about Kim. So Chevo, because you mentioned Batman Returns, so do you think, knowing how the movie came out, now you've seen Batman Returns, you've seen the script, you've seen how it came out, do you think if it was Kilmer instead of Keaton with that story, do you think Kilmer would have been hired?
Done a better job?
You think he would have been much higher on your list?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at earlier with that. I think he would have done, or he would be more praised as Batman if he was in one of those movies. If he was in '89 and Returns, he would get all that praise for that. Because with what you were saying about the documentary, how he cares about the character and stuff, he would have given it his all and, worked with the script or whatever to make it as the best he can.
All right, so the number 4 actor portraying the Dark Knight, the Cape Crusader, is Mr. Michael Keaton. And Michael Keaton obviously came out in the first Batman film since Adam West, 1989, and Batman Returns. I mean, I like Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is one of the really good actors on the list here. I recall watching Batman and Batman Returns, and I liked both of those films. When it comes to, it's like a different situation with Michael Keaton because like physically, you wouldn't think of Batman. More so Bruce Wayne. So I think he's a better Bruce Wayne than Batman, just because of how we know the character or whatever the case. But I mean, I still liked the movies he was in. I still like seeing him as Batman, and now he's coming out in that Flash movie if it actually comes out now. So I'm excited to see him again. But he obviously wasn't in my top 3, but he's pretty high. So he's number 4. And obviously a lot of us thought that Michael Keaton was pretty high up there. So, and I know a lot of people really like Michael Keaton, and they're very excited to see him again as the character. Brian, your thoughts on Michael Keaton?
I really like him. I really like those movies. I heard that people weren't really excited to hear that he was going to play the Cape Crusader because he had just come out of playing Beetlejuice, and his physical stature. But he was really good. I didn't really care for his Bruce Wayne that much. But, I really like him.
Yeah, because he had just come out. He had like a couple of comical films. Beetlejuice was one of them. And I think he had a movie called Mr. Mom or something like that. You can imagine what kind of movie that would be. So a lot of people were not... kind of like with the whole Ben Affleck thing, that was like, they casted Michael Keaton to be Batman. I mean, that's just what I read. I don't really remember it, but that's what I read. Ivan?
I like Michael Keaton, the actor, him as Bruce Wayne, and Batman. The movies are really good, so he has a lot going for him. Obviously, we weren't around that time to have had a reaction to the news, but just he was always comedy, right? So that's what people didn't like. But yeah, he deserves to be high on the list.
I like the movies a lot. When I look at what's his name?
Michael Keaton?
When I look at Michael Keaton, I do not think Bruce Wayne or Batman. That being said, though, I like the movies a lot. I like him. When I'm watching the movie, I don't mind it. But it's just when I look at him, I do not think Bruce Wayne or Batman. So, like in that scene with the Joker, when he breaks a little statue or something, he's like, "Let's get crazy" or something like that.
Let's get nuts.
That was a little weird to me, and I every time I think Michael Keaton, I don't think Batman or Bruce Wayne, but the movies themselves I like a lot, and altogether I enjoyed them, so I don't mind them.
I don't know who I would have chosen to replace him for a Tim Burton Batman movie.
Val Kilmer.
What the fuck? Well, Val Kilmer was barely in his career.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have had that
so I don't know who
pedigree at that time.
Who would have fit for that Tim Burton role? So I'm glad they went with Michael Keaton.
Although you did put Keaton at the same spot that it ended up in, number 4.
Yeah.
So he's pretty... Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain the whole Keaton thing. Is like he fits, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. Once I see the Batman movie and I see him play him, then I'm like, okay, yeah. But
It's just
outside of that, no.
Everything like for the Tim Burton movie like had to go together. Like the Danny Elfman music wouldn't have fit some other any other of the movies.
Yeah, I think you're
The
right.
direction,
I think
the style, everything had to go together.
Yeah, altogether it works. If those elements were separate, it would have just been weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But ultimately, it works. Keaton as Batman overall, I think it works. All right, so now we're at the top 3 actors portraying the Dark Knight, and number 3 is Robert Pattinson. And who would have thought that we would have chosen Robert Pattinson to be in just one movie, to be on the top of Batman and Bruce Wayne's, although not so much Bruce Wayne in my opinion. So I did like Robert Pattinson as Batman. He is a good actor, as we've seen in other movies, and in this one, the Batman that just came out a couple months ago. I did not like his Bruce Wayne. I don't think it really has anything to do with him specifically. It might have just been the director or the filmmakers that wanted him to look a certain way. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that Bruce Wayne was kind of like, he was different than the other Bruce Waynes that we've seen, but at the same time, this Bruce Wayne is younger. It's like his second year or whatever, so he's not really, like, he's still trying to learn how to be both Batman and Bruce Wayne, and he's kind of like distant, and he wasn't like trying to do the whole political
Playboy thing.
Yeah, all that stuff. He wasn't doing that in this film, but again, it might just have to do with that he was just younger and he was just more focused on the whole vengeance shit. So that's the part that I like. I like the Batman, the Dark Knight. His voice is perfect for Batman, and again, that has a lot to do with the direction. A lot of the scenes with Batman, which is a lot of scenes in the Batman, he doesn't even say anything, and it kind of like gives the effect that we're trying to see on screen. He doesn't even have to say a word. Like, he just looks and just stares, and like, okay, you kind of know what he's thinking. And so, and considering that he was from Twilight and he was Cedric Diggory in Harry Potter, and a lot of people did not want him to be Batman, it was kind of like a choice that was kind of out of left field, I guess you can say. So I liked him. So he's in our top 3. Brian?
I really like this Batman portrayal of from Pattinson. I had him number 2. I was also a little surprised when I heard that he was going to play Batman, but I knew he could pull it off because he was really good in like those Nolan movies. His acting is really good. I really like his Batman fighting style, the way he talks, like you were saying. I really like his Bruce Wayne too. It was different, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the second one.
I didn't doubt him that he was gonna be able to pull off Batman. The only thing I was worried about was just the script, but yeah, he's a great actor. He's a great great Batman, and I'm sure they'll develop his Bruce Wayne part later on. Like, I've only seen the movie once. I have to rewatch it. Can't really remember like him as Bruce Wayne. It was kind of, besides talking to Alfred. So yeah, we just need more of that.
Yeah, we barely got any Bruce Wayne, and what we did get was a very like a shut-in person. I guess it makes sense. It's different. So it was a little bit refreshing. But I really liked him. He's actually my number 1 spot. But yeah, I really like him as Batman. I never doubted him. I knew he was gonna do great because I know he's a great actor and stuff. But I do hope we see more Bruce Wayne and they kind of evolve it a little bit. But yeah, that's it.
And the last 2 actors I remember being like upset about like them getting a certain role was Heath Ledger as the Joker and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and now to me they're like perfect. They're Heath Ledger is the best Joker.
Yeah.
I can't think of somebody else that I'd rather have as Wonder Woman. So yeah, when people were complaining about Robert Pattinson, I was like, just wait and see. At least complain after you see the trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 2
I'm sorry.
is the Oscar-winning Christian Bale, who portrayed the Dark Knight trilogy under Christopher Nolan's direction and vision. Christian Bale was, of course, a very good Batman, a very good Bruce Wayne. I want to say that he might be the best Bruce Wayne of the actors, in my opinion, anyway. Yeah, I liked him as Batman. That there's no issues with Batman. I would have liked him to be like a little, taller or a little bit more
menacing, like physically.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because I remember I was watching, I think it was The Dark Knight, and then my mom walked into the living room, and then she started watching it, and then she was like, "That's Batman?" I was like, "Yeah, that's Batman, Christian Bale." I was like, "Oh, he's too small to be Batman," or some shit like that. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess he kind of is." I don't know, I guess you just think Batman is gonna be like this. Like more like a Ben Affleck. Like Ben Affleck is pretty fucking huge and more menacing and shit like that. But as far as the acting, obviously he's got the acting part. Bruce Wayne, great. He's in the best trilogy series of the Batman films. So of course he's gonna be high up there. Obviously the voice that he uses in The Dark Knight is a little too much sometimes. But yeah, he has to change the voice because that Bruce Wayne is too recognizable to just keep your same voice. So overall, I mean, Christian Bale's good. He was in my top 3. Brian.
This is my number 1 Batman, and I agree with you. He's number 1 Bruce Wayne. I think for a Nolan movie, I think his size was good, especially the way he bulked up for the first one. It's my favorite.
Best Bruce Wayne for sure. Second best Batman for me. I think I had him number 2. Pretty sure I had him number 2. Yeah, I had him number 2. I didn't have a problem with the voice. I remember watching The Dark Knight several times in the movie theater and never having an issue understanding him. And then I remember seeing all the parodies or people complain about it. I was like, what the hell are you guys talking about? Like,
of understanding him?
Yeah.
Oh, I understood him.
No, I know, but people were complaining about it. Some people were saying like they couldn't understand. Like the parodies were they couldn't understand them.
Oh.
And I have no problem with it. I have no problem with his size, especially because with the direction they went. You know, what I mean, they can't picture Ben Affleck all bulky training to like in Batman Begins the way he trains as a ninja and stuff. So it's fine. You have any problems with his size, his height, or how bulky he was. So yeah, definitely. Best Bruce Wayne.
What's the one line he says that it kind of like stands out to me all the time in The Dark Knight? I forgot what the line is, but he says like, "I'm not the one wearing hockey pants" or some shit like that. that line I think is fucking hilarious because it's kind of like that's the one that I think of when people are talking about Christian Bale's voice as Batman. I always think of that line.
Because he's trying to be funny and he sounds like all
yeah, maybe badass. That's what it is. Because he's trying to be like a funny line, but then he has that voice.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Best Bruce Wayne for sure. I recently rewatched Batman Begins, and I like that movie a lot because you see a lot of Bruce Wayne, and I think that movie alone did it for me for him as Bruce Wayne. I think he's a perfect Bruce Wayne. As far as Batman, I think he's great too. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the voice. I think because this Batman is very like tech based and stuff, if they use the modulator like they did for Ben Affleck, I think that would have been really cool, really interesting. But yeah, I think he's a great. I think I had him at in my top 3 also.
I mean, Christian Bale came up with the voice. Did you guys hear about that? In the audition.
What I was gonna say too, before we get too far ahead, was the voice I like for him better as that they would have used as Batman is if you watch the teaser trailer for Batman Begins, he uses a different voice in that teaser for Batman, and I think that one would have worked a lot better than what we ended up with.
I don't remember that at all, but
I don't remember that either.
And I don't think I don't really like the. I know it's supposed to be more grounded, more realistic in the Christopher Nolan movies, but I never really like the Batman fighting style under Christian Bale.
I agree. I think he looks pretty stiff.
And I think it's probably because of the costume or whatever, the outfit or whatever. And it's, I mean, they're not trying to overdo it. They're not trying to have all these fucking crazy ass moves and shit. But
I really like his fighting, like the close quarter combat. Yeah, I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah, I don't doubt he can take out a room full of guys and stuff. It's just, I do get what you're saying though. Fuck. I do get what you're saying though. Is every time I see him fight, to me he looks a little bit stiff.
all right, so number one, the best actor to portray Batman was actually very surprising because he was actually on my number one spot, but I didn't think you guys would pick him that high too. And that's Kevin Conroy, the Batman from the animated series. So I don't know if it's because I just grew up with the Batman animated series that I just associate Kevin Conroy with Batman, but the voice is Batman to me. That's Bruce Wayne. Obviously, we don't see him physically, the actor itself, but that's just the voice. It's an animated character. But that voice alone just, I guess, won me over, I suppose. And so far, no actor has gotten really that close to portray Batman and Bruce Wayne overall, at least to me. Brian?
I'm a little surprised it's number one, but yeah, I was a big fan of the show as a kid. He has a great Batman and Bruce Wayne voice. Probably top 3, top 4 for me.
Kevin Conroy is Batman for me. With the animated series, plus I remember when they announced in the Arkham series that they were gonna have Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. It was like that's just what made it like perfect, and I knew it was gonna be great just by that. And every time that I can hear his voice, no matter what, yes, it's Batman.
I agree. I think he was my number 2 spot, but I think it's definitely up there. It's probably equal to my number 1, but yeah, I agree. I think he's perfect Batman, perfect Bruce Wayne. So I do agree.
So Kevin Conroy was on my number 1. It was on Ivan's also. And on Chevo's, it was number 2. Brian was number 5. Number 5. Kevin Conroy. So, so it's funny that we don't actually see him physically. Like, you don't actually see the actor itself playing the character, but just his voice alone just did it.